Hey everybody, Glad Dad here. I am so sorry for the long break I decided to take here. I was in the middle of moving and getting stuff rearranged and some big life changes, starting a new job and all that stuff. And I was also waiting on some of these cards for you guys. Unfortunately, this is not the Tri-Brigade Sprite profile. I'm currently still working on that. Trying to thin up the build just a little bit. This is the version of the Spright that I played at the sneak peek, and it worked really well. So I figured I'd go ahead and show it to you guys, and then I'll show you my side deck choices afterwards and what I think kind of like going into this format's going to be like. So first we play 3 Spright. I keep wanting to call it Spright because that's what it was in the OCG. But 3 Spright Blues. He's your monster searcher. He searches you any Spright monster. For those of you who are unaware, this deck is based on level 2s. These guys all summon. They're inherent summons. I think the deck's it's going to be the best deck of the format, at least until Terrellmans get the rest of their support. Or not their support, but they get that fairy support, I believe is what it is. But the next monster we play 3 of is we play 3 Spright Jets. This is your spell and trap searcher, which I know in the next... not the next, I think it's Darkwing Blast is the set. Sprite's getting a new Link 2, and they're getting a trap card that's actually pretty good, and this guy will be able to search your trap card. Now I play 2 of the next one. A lot of people only play 1. I play 2 reds. I don't think 1 is right. I think 2 is better, because sometimes it's nice to have the extra extender. You have to waste 1 as an extender, or it's just nice to have the extra monster negate when it comes to the grind. Then the one thing I do agree with is only 1 carrot. I don't think you need more than 1 carrot. It's just spell and trap negate. If you tribute a Link 2, it destroys whatever it is you're negating, and so does red. Red does the same thing as well. If you tribute a Link 2, rank 2, or level 2, aside from itself. And then I've been testing 1 Pixie. I like the 1 Pixie just as an extender. It's another name. I also like it because this deck has a hard time going second, has a hard time like killing. It's everybody's all really weak, so it has a hard time killing. So I think Pixies is nice to help. If you have it, you have it. If not, you can search it and then use it. It just makes gigantic. I know he becomes 32 if you have the elf underneath him or any other Link 2. And then you drop that on top of it and makes him 48. So it just makes him really big. Helps you try to get over towers, especially with Mathmech and Adagnister being in the format. I think, due to Mathmech Circular, I think Pixies is another really good target. And then I'm on the Diva engine. I like the 3 Deep Sea Divas. It gives you access to Hulk, which allows you to bounce a hand trap off of Spright-Frog. But it's also just a level 2 water you can add back off of Toad. And speaking of frogs, we play the triple Spright-Frog. It's pretty standard, pretty self-explanatory. Normal, dump 1, bounce back. Normal, a different frog, or special. Most of the time, you're going to special him off of the gigantic, just so you can get get his effect. And then we do play the 1 Rodent Totem, and we do play the 1 Dupe. A lot of people don't like Dupe due to the super poly. In my opinion, play Dupe. It's really good, really consistent, really helps the deck a lot. Obviously, if you're playing the Tri-Brigade variant, you're not going to play the frogs, really, because you're not going to play Spright-Frog. And you're not going to play Toad. I couldn't think of his name. You're not going to play Toad. And I think I'm definitely going to gear more towards that variant once the frogs get hit. Like, I think Spright-Frog either is going to get hit or Toad's going to get hit. But I am working on that build. It's coming up next, I promise. But play Dupe. Don't play just because... Do not play Dupe just because your opponent might have Super Poly. You can always side Dupe out going game 2 and 3. But play Dupe in the main. I mean, if your opponent has Super Poly, they have it. Like, you can't play scared most of the time. So on to the hand traps. We play pretty heavy hand trap lineup. We play triple Ash, triple Ogre, which I'm probably going to cut Ogre to 2. I was seeing it way too much just in matchups where it didn't really do a whole lot. But it's it's one of the best hand traps going into this next format because it hits gigantic, so it's really good for the mirror matches. 3 Crow, because Crow is insanely probably the best hand trap this format because it really it's a well-timed DD Crow will ruin Sprite's day because it can hit the gigantics, or not gigantic. It can hit the Toad when they go to bring it back off Elf. It can hit the Ronin Totem. It can hit all sorts of stuff. Terrell Elements, it can hit the fusion materials so they can't be shuffled back. And then I'm also on the Gamma package. I'm on the Gamma package because I think Gamma is also insane this format. I think it's one of the best hand traps this format. Especially if you're starting with starter, you can Gamma. Gamma in this deck is also a level 2 tuner. So you can bring it out off a Hulk, but the most important thing is the fact that it is level 2. So I decided to play it because I can use it as an extender when I have E-Telly. On to the spells. The most important spell in your deck is Sprite Starter. This card is a 1-card full combo. This is the only card you really need to start everything. It specials a Sprite from the deck, and then you burn for the attack points of the Sprite that you specialed. We play the 1 Sprite Smasher. I thought about playing 2 of this card, but I think one of it's fine. This card outs just about any problematic card that you can't deal with. Except for Towers. Towers that are unaffected, like Agnister and Math-Mech, is some of the bigger reasons why I'm testing Pixie. Then next we play Triple E-Telly. Sorry for the mismatch rarities. I need secrets. I need 2 more secrets. I mean, you're playing Gamma, you're playing Ogre. This is pretty self-explanatory. At this point, it's just a free engine starter. We play Triple Prosperity. I like Prosperity over Desires. I don't like Desires. You guys know that if you've watched a lot of my previous videos. But I think Prosperity is a lot better in this deck because you have options that are going first. You can use it going second, which you can banish because you're not going to make it and stuff like that. If you can't play Prosperity due to the price of Prosperity, then I recommend definitely playing Desires. But if you're going to play Desires, I would up Smashers to 2 and I would up Carrot to probably 2, so that way you don't end up banishing them off of the Desires. Last but not least, one of the best tech cards this format, I think, is Talents. I mean, with the amount of hand traps that everybody is playing right now, I think Talents is probably one of the best main deck cards right now. Absolutely one of the best. Because with 3 elements doing stuff on your turn, you can just go ahead and Talents their stuff away as soon as they activate anything on your turn. So on to the extra deck, we're playing 2 gigantic Sprites. This guy can detach a material from any XYZ on your side of the field. Does not have to be him. So that's the coolest thing about this dude. When he has a link material, when he has a link monster as one of his materials, his attack is doubled. So is his defense. So it becomes big, becomes 32. He detaches a special 1 from the main deck, 1 level 2 monster from the main deck. So this is typically how you get into anything, your engines or anything, but this is also probably the biggest winter cherries target this format. People are going to try to winter cherries this dude almost every game, so be ready for that. Next, the best 2 of also in the extra deck is Elf. This guy is insane. I've really debated on playing a 3rd one for the grind game because this card just is everything. This card gets you back your XYZs in the graveyard. This card gets you back something else from your graveyard, any level 2, link 2, or rank 2. It can only do level 2s unless it is in like your opponent's has a monster. Then you can bring back your Toad. So this guy is how you will. Speaking of next, we play Toad. This is how when you have Toad, you'll tribute Toad to negate something, chain him, because Toad tributes for cost, and bring back the Toad. So then you immediately have Toad back before the end of the resolution. So that's really, really nice. On to our honorary XYZs that are just really good in this deck. We do play the 1 Soul Sweeper. I opted to play this guy over the Dision Buster, but if you guys like, you guys can play the Dision Buster instead. Let me see if I can find my Dision Buster here and I can show you guys. I have it. Yeah, the Vision Buster, you can play this guy instead. He's a monster effect negate. But I definitely like this guy to out or force problematic monsters. Like I use him to mostly force Appaloosa off the field and stuff like that. Then I like the Cat Shark. I really do. This guy really helps you push for games. Like I said, you have a hard time sometimes pushing for game. Cat Shark is cute, adorable, and it allows you to push for games. So doubles the attack of an XYZ. Sky Centurion, I mean, this guy's pretty standard when it comes to the Zeus package. We play the Downard and the Zeus because you play all, or not all, but most XYZs. Also, if they ban Hulk next format, you can just easily play Vision Buster. Because speaking of that, man, we play Hulk, which he needs to get banned. I'm sorry, but he needs to go. This guy is insane in this deck. He's a lot like Toad. I think Toad's probably going to get the ban hammer sometime here soon. This guy allows you to cheat out a hand trap and then bounce back to your hand with Toad. So this guy's definitely going to, or with Swap-Frog. So this guy's definitely, I think, going to get the ban hammer. Up next, we play the IP Masquerena. I like this card and I don't like this card. I just think it's a good flex spot. If you want to play it, you can. I play it because we also play Unicorn in the deck. So it's just nice to have it. Then we play the one dark because everything in your deck is dark. So you can make this and steal your opponent's stuff. Like if your opponent's, you can steal your opponent's Gigantic from the graveyard. You can steal your opponent's Splight monsters from the graveyard. This card's also really good. Like I know Terrellans play Winda. So if you have a Sprite in your hand and you have talents and you normal the Sprite and your opponent activates a monster effect, you can just talents, take the window, link that one and the Sprite into the Dark Charmer. And then I kind of spoiled it. We do play the one Unicorn for IP target. And then we also do play the one boss monster to try to help us in the game. We play the Access Code target. So onto my side deck, kind of what I'm trying to play this format. I'm going to change it up definitely, but these are some really strong choices. I do play the 3 Dark Ruler no more. I think this is probably more better than Droplets, especially in Sprite, because you really don't want to discard your hand in Sprite. Unfortunately, Dark Ruler doesn't really do much to Terrell elements. The better option is Droplets or other things that clear the board. Talents is really good too. It rips their board apart. For my back row matchups, I like to play Evenly Match. I think Evenly Match is still really good, and I think it's very underestimated this format. And just like forcing your opponent to minimize their board. Then I still play the 3 Anti-Spell because it's still really, really good. I think Anti-Spell is still great in preventing your opponent from Dark Rolling your board because Splight loses heavily to Dark Roller no more. So you could also opt to play Cross-Out Designators so that way you don't lose to it because you can always side one in. This card needs to be banned, Konami, but it's not going to get banned. T-Barrier, I think, is still one of the sackiest cards Konami's made in a long time. So glad it doesn't say links. But yeah, I think playing this still right now is really good because you can call XYZs, fusions, anything that you really don't want to deal with just to shut your opponent out for a turn. Last but not least, this card is a nice little tech. I've noticed a lot of people starting to like pick this guy back up. Was a pointer of the Red Lotus, because if you know your opponent's going to side in stuff like Dark Ruler no more, stuff like that to kind of rip your board apart, you can hit them with this if you know they're going to go second. Because you don't care if they see your hand, because most of your monsters are going to summon from the hand anyway. So, but that's it. I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and I will be back later on with the Sprite Tri-Brigade deck profile coming up next.